Picture this. It's 50,000 BC. You're standing around a roaring fire. The sun just dipped below the horizon. There's no streaming, no smartphones buzzing in your pocket. There's just you, the dancing flames, and thick, choking smoke curling directly into the face of our prehistoric stick-figure ancestor, coughing, sputtering, just trying to stay warm. Which really begs the question, when did ancient humans actually start smoking?
Right, let's dive into this explainer, because somewhere, at some exact point in time, one of those early ancestors looked at that billowing smoke, wiped their watering eyes, and thought, wait, what if I did that on purpose? Now, to be clear, we aren't talking about modern cigarettes or the guy taking a smoke break outside your office building. We're tracking down the very first time a human being intentionally inhaled something burning. And to do that, we gotta look way past agriculture, way past civilization, and go deep, deep into our primal history.
What's truly wild about all this is the pure biological accident of it. Imagine our ancestors sitting around those fires, just burning whatever dried weeds and shrubs were lying nearby to stay warm. Sometimes those plants happen to be psychoactive. As they breathed in, compounds like cannabinoids hit their nervous system. But here's the crazy part. Their brains didn't freak out. Thanks to the endocannabinoid system, which is basically a built-in biological network regulating mood and memory, the brain's receptors welcomed the high like an old friend. The brain essentially said, "Oh, hello there, I've been waiting for you." It wasn't some grand plan. It was just a very pleasant accident repeated over and over until someone finally decided to recreate it on purpose. If we zoom out and look across a massive historical timeline, you can really see how this behavior builds. I mean, fire itself is ancient. We're talking controlled fire ash at Wonderwerk cave in South Africa dating back a literal million years. But what about intentional smoke? Well, in a hearth out in the Utah desert, researchers found wild tobacco seeds deliberately placed there 12,000 years ago. Fast forward a bit, and we see chemical residue in pipes in the Americas from 3,500 years ago. And over in the Pamir mountains of Central Asia, they found ritual cannabis in wooden braziers dating right back to 500 BC. The habit of inhaling smoke is just unimaginably ancient.
And speaking of 500 BC, we absolutely have to talk about the Scythians. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus described these Eurasian steppe nomads setting up these small, enclosed tents. They were essentially acting as ancient, extreme vapor baths. They would heat stones until they literally glowed, throw hemp seeds directly onto them, and then just inhale the incredibly thick smoke. Herodotus wrote that they were howling with pleasure. Now, for centuries, historians thought, okay, he's totally exaggerating. But guess what? Modern archaeologists dug up Scythian burial mounds and found the exact bronze braziers, the heated stones, and the hemp residue that he described. Herodotus wasn't making it up. If anything, he was underselling it.
So, the million-dollar question is, why did humans everywhere start doing this? Well, respected anthropologists point to something called the Intoxication Hypothesis. This is a total paradigm-shifting argument. It suggests that seeking an altered state of consciousness isn't some modern cultural accident. It's actually a deep, primal biological drive. They call it the fourth drive, right up there alongside hunger, thirst, and sex. And it's not even uniquely human. We see elephants seeking out fermented fruit and Siberian reindeer eating psychoactive mushrooms and then engaging in, well, natural drug recycling, if you catch my drift. Prehistoric humans likely engaged in some pretty high-stakes trial and error around the campfire to feed this exact same biological drive. But hey, it wasn't just about catching a buzz. Long before it was recreational, smoking was actually considered highly sophisticated medicine. In ancient Egypt around 1550 BC, the Ebers Papyrus prescribed inhaling heated herb smoke for throat and lung problems. Over in ancient Greece, Hippocrates was using herbal fumigation. And in ancient India, Ayurvedic medicine detailed a practice called dhumapana, literally smoke drinking, through medicinal pipes over 3,000 years ago. I know, it sounds wildly counterintuitive today to treat your lungs with smoke, but delivering pharmacological properties directly via the lungs made total logical sense to them. And frankly, in a world without antibiotics, it worked well enough to survive for millennia. This also brilliantly highlights another major survival mechanism. We humans are deeply, deeply social creatures, right? Isolated individuals simply didn't survive prehistoric times. When a group of ancient humans sat in a closed space and entered a shared altered state of consciousness through smoke, it created this intense connection. Modern neuroscience actually backs this up. Shared rituals synchronize neural activity, they increase trust, and they deepen group identity. That ancient smoke circle wasn't just a prehistoric party, it was vital social infrastructure that bonded tribes together so they could face a terrifyingly dangerous world and actually come back alive. Now, this brings us to a really stark pivot in our timeline, the massive transition from sacred ritual to a commercial product. On one side, you have the ancient shaman. Tobacco in the ancient Americas was seen as a living messenger. It was used for healing and communicating with the divine. You didn't just casually do it while waiting for the bus. On the completely flip side, look at the 20th century executive. As tobacco hit the global market, the focus shifted entirely. Industrialists engineered the plant for mass production and endless commercial scale. A 500 BC shaman and a 1960s executive were working with the exact same plant, but with entirely different intentions and outcomes. Which brings us right back to where we started, standing around that campfire. We may never know the exact day or year a human first decided to inhale smoke on purpose, but what we do know for sure is that the behavior predates agriculture, it predates pottery, and it predates literally every civilization in your history books. Despite all our modern technology and our glowing daily screens, there are these thin threads of continuity that run completely unbroken through 100,000 years of human experience: fire, smoke, and breath. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. We are all deeply connected to those first fire breathers. The next time you catch a whiff of wood smoke on a cold night, or you're sitting around a glowing summer bonfire, remember that you are participating in something unimaginably old. You're doing exactly what humans have always done. And it really makes you wonder, what other ancient, unseen instincts are unknowingly driving your modern life every single day?